Hey, it's another fabulous Sunday. I'd like to welcome you guys to Jib Jab Talk. This is KT.
This is Micah.
Hey, how's it going? We had a pretty interesting subject we're going to talk about today. It's on a lot of people's minds right now because we'll get into that. It's on a lot of people's minds right now. But we're going to talk about home buying versus renting. We'd love to get you guys' opinion on it if you want to send us some messages later, but let's delve into it. I'll start off by asking you first, Micah. You mentioned in a previous episode that you were thinking about buying a condo. So let's talk about that some. What are some of your interests in a house for home buying?
Some of the pros for home buying is, having a secure place. I know that my money's going towards something instead of, just renting and that money just being given to somebody else. I know that if I'm buying a house, that money is going towards me owning that house at some point.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's it?
Yeah, that's it. Also having a secure place and just being able to fix things up the way I want to have them fixed up instead of renting someplace, and if I ever have to move, I have to put it back the way it was.
All right, that's what I was about to get to. That's one of my things about renting. To me, it's like if you paint the walls, you gotta paint them back. If you put a hole in the wall, you better make sure that's fixed because they're gonna take that out of your deposit. Sometimes, I don't feel like I can do the house or my apartment exactly how I want to because I am renting. There's limitations to the things that I can do, pretty much, besides just putting up pictures and whatnot. Of course you can do it, but who wants to do the labor of having to put everything back exactly the same way? I don't know. So I guess that's one of the things about buying a house. You can do whatever you want to it, basically. You can take as much time as you want fixing it and doing whatever you feel like. Yeah, one of the things about renting too, it's like, and every single year I'll be like, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and paint these walls because I just renewed this lease. And then some months go by and I'm like, ooh, it's not worth it. I only got 6 more months worth on the lease, even though I've lived in the same place for going on 8 years now. Yeah, I haven't painted anything because I'm not painting it back. So, bam.
That's what I feel. It's kind of like, I don't want to pay anything, because even when I moved into this place, it's like, you can paint the walls any color you want. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to do that, because I don't want to paint these walls.
Yeah.
If I ever do that.
I'm not going to lie, I feel like the lady where you're at, it would help her if you painted the walls. I don't think, she may not make you paint it back. Because if you look at it, you kind of took over after an older lady lived there, and some of those walls aren't the same color. So, I don't think she really cares that much. So I feel like you can do what you feel like with it. I think you do have a little bit of that leeway. So that's one of the things. Go ahead.
I guess another pro of it is just, like I said, for stability.
Yeah.
If you own it, they're not going to kick you out unless, you fall behind on the payment.
Right. And that's one of the things. I go back and forth with some of my coworkers about this sometimes because that is one of the things. To me, technically, owning, unless you have bought that house and you fully outright have bought it, you've paid all the mortgage off. You're to the point where you have no more mortgage payment. To me, you're kind of you're locked in for a payment of long-term renting. If you don't pay your rent on time, you get kicked out. Same thing with your mortgage, though. If you don't pay it on time, you get kicked out. Even though each year they up your rent, maybe by a couple dollars or however much. And they don't do that with paying a mortgage because you're at a fixed rate. You can still get kicked out. You don't technically actually really own it until it's all paid off.
Well, you also fall into the category of you can't get kicked out just because of anything. Like I say, the place that I looked at, the guy was like, well, we're going to sell it now, so I had to find a new place to live.
Mm-hmm.
But
Right.
if you're owning a house, I mean, the only way they can keep you out there is if you don't make the payments on your mortgage.
True.
I mean, there's other ways they can try to keep you out, but legally.
Yeah, you're kind of locked in there. It's all yours.
Yeah.
I don't know. Definite pros of renting for me. I don't have to cut grass. The roof falls apart, they have to fix it. Anything inside this place happens, they have to fix it. Lights. They come put in my light bulbs because I don't have a ladder. I'm a renter. I don't want a ladder in my place. So if a light bulb goes out, they come and fix it. It's their light bulb, not mine, unless I want special ones. And then it's mine. But still, that's $15 out of my pocket. I don't care. Come fix this stuff. That's what I pay you guys for.
Yeah, that's kind of the concept of owning something that if something breaks, you have to fix it yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You can't rely on it. So, I mean, that's kind of where renting comes in good. Like, oh, it's not my issue.
Yeah, it isn't.
But now, the homeowners association and the homeowners fee goes towards taking care of the lawn. Because, I don't own, lawn. It's just
Right.
a condo. So they take care of the lawn. They take care of, any side of the building. They take care of.
Right. And here's another thing,
But,
though. Homeowners association. It depends on where you're at. Some are low, some are high when you're in a condo, because that's what I would like to do. If I'm going to move someplace, I want someplace where I don't have to take care of anything. I want you cutting the grass. I want you doing the same things that you did in an apartment, except I'll change my own light bulbs, and I'll change my own stuff, fix the place. However, it depends on where you're at. You living in the city, you living in the country. City, I found that a lot of homeowner associations are $400 a month around here. Whereas you go somewhere else, it's much, much lower, maybe about $100 a month. This is a month, okay? $400 added onto your mortgage a month, just so that they can come out and cut your lawn and keep up the pool. Kind of unfair. I don't understand it, but that's what they're asking in a lot of places.
Yeah, that's something you got to consider, especially when you do buying a house or buying a condo or owning anything. You have to take all that into consideration, because now you're paying for stuff inside of the place, homeowners fees. And they can always raise those homeowners fees. It's not
Right.
the set fee, so you have to keep that. But I always feel like the rent and the mortgage payments that you make is up less than what you would pay in rent. So even if you add the home.
Okay, I'm sorry. What were you saying?
So what I was saying is that, the fees that you pay, most of the time the mortgage payment is less than what you pay for rent. And then once you add in the mortgage fees, you're kind of paying almost the same amount that you would pay for rent, but you're working towards owning that place.
Yeah.
So it's all a debate on what you want to do and how you want to look at it.
Right. Like I said, I get in a lot of discussions with this with my coworkers. I'm saying it's an investment to buy because you can always sell. But there is still a possibility that you may not sell. People are expecting the market to go to crap next year with COVID and new presidents coming in and whatnot, and they don't expect the market to be how it should. And so they're like, oh, well, next year I'm expecting it to crash, so I'm trying to sell this year and hopefully. Those are the words that I don't like to hear, is possibly or hopefully. You may not actually sell it for more than what you bought it for. You might take a big loss on that just because, unless it's your forever home and you move, you might take a loss on that, so.
Yeah.
I don't know. To me, it's two sides of the same coin. You have your pros, you have your cons. Renting isn't for everybody. People like to have their own yard. They don't want people running above them, which we do. We have some neighbors on top of us that seem to tap dance every morning with their children and move furniture every day. Not too sure why. Um, yeah, but I kind of become used to it, honestly. And I kind of like a little bit of the noise. I kind of like people hanging out in the streets a little bit in my apartment complex. Not saying it's a bad neighborhood or anything, but I like it a little bit. I want to see some people out. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoy it. I mean, the way mine is, you have, these used to be apartments and they turned them to condominium. And, I'm on the top floor, so I don't have anybody above me. And there's only, one of the floor that's beneath me.
Right.
So, I kind of like, I've always been a big fan of the house setting, having like a backyard and, having a little bit of grass. But then as I got older, I really don't like cutting grass to begin with, so I don't want to keep the yard.
Heard that.
And this just kind of works out for me, so.
Right. And so that's what me and my husband always said. If we're going to get something, it's going to be something more condominium-like, where you're not cutting your own grass. They're taking care of everything. That just appeals to me. I do wish I had a little bit of land so I'd be able to make a little garden. I do like growing veggies and whatnot, being a little bit more resourceful. But sometimes you got to pick and choose the life you want to have. Can I live in a place?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You gotta choose. I don't know. You gotta pick.
I mean, and it also depends on where you want to live at. I mean, some people like you can go out into the suburbs and buy a place that's cheaper than it would be in the city and get a lot more stuff. But then I enjoy living closer to the city, so
right.
Those are the choices that I make. Is that
so
I don't mind not having a backyard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I enjoy being able to jump on the highway quicker, being able to get to the city faster.
Yep.
So instead of being out in the suburbs and being taking 30 minutes just to get to the highway before I even get down to getting to work. So
yeah, that's not my thing. I'm not down for that. I like being close to everything. So, I don't know. I mean, on that note, though, you said that possibly you might be buying your condo, right?
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense because I like where I'm at.
And you're in a good part. You're like in a great part of the city, actually, where everything connects. You're definitely near everything. You're by 2 highways. I really like where you're living at. If I ever move back to Atlanta, that's the area I would go to.
And I mean, I'm right up the road from
Taco Mac?
The baseball stadium.
Oh.
Well, not Taco Mac.
But Taco Mac? Come on. Let's be for real.
But I mean, I'm right up the road from the baseball stadium. That's only like 15 minutes away.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and as much, even the market was bad, I mean...
If the market is bad, now is the time to buy. If the market is good, then save your ducats so that you can put down that 20% if possible. Even though I don't think you even have to put down that much. And then you just have to pay a little bit of PMI insurance. But I mean, that's all with your bank and what you're finding, what you're getting and stuff. I'm learning more and more each day from the people that I talk to at work. They buy, they sell. It seems like they do it for fun. Veterans, they don't have to put down payments or pay closing costs, which is great for them. I wish I could get that as being not a veteran, but that's the life I live.
I just feel this area it's not going to go down, it's going to go up. I mean...
Oh, yeah.
I think in the next 5-10 years, these condominiums may not even be here anymore.
Yeah, no, you might flip and sell. I mean, you have that option as well. Where you're at, you got a good option of things you could do. Me and my husband were actually going to go look at a place. It's more of a house, and it's on a plot of land, and HOA fees are low, and they pay for cutting grass and whatnot, but also it's not in a central location like we are right now. Right now, we are in the middle of everything, and we can get to everything like we need to. And this place is a little bit off the beaten path, so we're going to check it out, see if it's somewhere that we could live. Because I'm a person, first off, I don't like to move. I've been living in this apartment for 8 years. I love it here. Only thing is, it would be nice to have a 2-bedroom, to have family over when COVID's over. Whenever that is. You know, and a little bit more extra